Has anybody on the commission had any ex parte communication with the applicant or general public regarding this case?
No.
Thank you. All right, applicant is up.
Good evening, Planners Actorino for the record. Presenting case number PZE-21-0213, a request for zone map amendment. The screen is shared so people online are able to see me. This is a request to amend the zone map from commercial to mixed use. It is a parcel that was recently adjusted through a boundary line adjustment that was submitted to the city in May. You'll see on the map that I'm about to show the previous boundary lines and then what the boundary lines currently are. In August, a deed was recorded solidifying the new legal description for the parcel and then conveying that parcel to the current owner. And it is a 2.36 acre or 2.37 acre parcel that is undeveloped. Previously, there was a residence on one of the portions that has since been adjusted to be excluded from the area that we're considering. So these blue lines here delineate the previous parcel boundaries, and this yellow is the current area of land that is being considered that has been created through that boundary line adjustment. So the owner is Aspen Homes and Development, and the applicant is Ken Hollenbach of Aspen Homes. They are here tonight, and so I will turn it over to them for their presentation.
Thank you, Zach.
And you can just use the gift or the mouse or whatever you prefer. Let me know if you need.
Good evening, everybody. I'm actually Eric Campbell with Aspen Homes. This is Ken Hollenbach here. He's gonna kind of take phase 2 of this. I'm gonna just jump into it, but like Zach said, that is the property 9519. Like he mentioned, it was 2 parcels. The seller that we bought it from did this boundary line adjustment, parceling off that house on the corner. We're requesting to rezone from commercial to the mixed use zoning pursuant to the comprehensive plan, future land use map. Just some visual stuff. Obviously the area of city impact, that's the whole Kootenai County region, and kind of the star there in the red is where we're at. Big picture in Hayden. As we've kind of zoomed further into it, obviously you can see that it's well within, obviously existing development within the city of Hayden. Again, there's the close-up right on the corner of Ramsey and Hayden Avenue. That is obviously the 2040 comprehensive plan. As you can see, our parcel sits right within that mixed use zone on that comprehensive plan. We'll kind of show further on, we feel it's a good area for that with commercial and other uses already on Hayden Avenue that fall, that are similar land uses within that mixed use plan. So just kind of going down, within the Hayden Avenue, there's single family residential, there's 2 family residential, multifamily manufactured home park, not too far off. Obviously there's also a lot of commercial uses within that, daycare, food service, fueling, hair salons, self-storage. So again, just a lot of mixed uses already existing on that Hayden corridor there. So kind of going quick through it, not a lot to say, I don't suppose. So Ken's just going to kind of talk about the infrastructure and utilities and the traffic study we did and a few of those things.
Thanks, Eric. I'm Ken Hollenbach with Aspen Homes also. So again, the lot is located on the corner of Ramsey and Hayden Avenue, kind of a major intersection. But it does, give you good access then to 95 to the east, and then down, from Ramsey, I-90, to the south, and then State Route 53 to the north. So it does have good connectivity from a traffic standpoint. We did meet with the city some time back to talk about the future upgrades for Hayden Avenue and for Ramsey Road, the widening of those, and the construction of a roundabout or a signal at that intersection. And so we're aware of the future improvements, aware of of the future right-of-ways and whatnot. And so, it's something that we definitely would be interested in working with the city and as we develop this project to make sure that we take all those considerations in line. We did do a hypothetical trip generation report. We kind of picked two scenarios just kind of to take a look at it. The one scenario was mixed use with 35 multifamily units and about 1,100 square feet of commercial on the property. And the second one was just going 100% mixed retail and office. The results of those, so that trip the generation report was included with our application. But the results was that the mixed use with the multifamily units and commercial had a daily average of 275 trips with a peak of 29 trips per hour, while the mixed retail and office it was 35, I think it was 35 based on 35,000 square feet. That would generate 1,359 daily average trips with a peak of 108. So actually the mixed use would significantly decrease the traffic that impacts that area than what it's currently zoned for commercial. Okay, infrastructure. So it is located in the H2 sewer basin. We did look at it, and it does meet the predicted flow rates of the sewer collection master plan. We have existing infrastructure in place, for water, stormwater, power, gas, all available in the area, so we wouldn't really be needing to bring in new infrastructure per se. It's a good flat piece of land, so it's well be easy to develop. Not a lot of pre-development work required. There are no bodies of water, no wetlands or anything to worry about, and it's not in an area. It's in an area of minimal flood zone. Standards of approval. We feel that we do meet the standards of approval. It's consistent with the current development along the Hayden area corridor. It's surrounded by the mixed-use development on all sides throughout. It has good, like I mentioned, good connectivity to 95, I-90 and State Route 53. It has immediate access to the arterial transportation infrastructure. It's consistent with the city's comprehensive plan with the multi-use zone designation. It'll establish a good buffer area, transitional area along the arterial roadways to the single family to the south. It complements the commercial and mixed use designation and uses the uses to the north and east. Consistent with the city's long range plan. There's existing infrastructure to support future development. No environmental conditions that'll impact future development. And all the agency comments we received don't have any items of concern. So that's it.
And to answer a question that's probably coming is we don't have a set plan on what we're doing with the property. Obviously that takes time and money and investment but we are home builders, we do residential, we've done some multifamily, so that is on the table, but we're excited about the commercial components of the mixed use also and incorporating that into the project, so.
Okay, questions for the applicant? All right, we're good, thank you, Eric, thank you, Jen.
Okay, so the applicant covered a lot of the information that I was going to cover, and so I'm gonna go quickly, but if you have questions at the end, I can always go back. The standards of approval are the same as we discussed last hearing. For the benefit of the public and those that weren't here, I'm gonna go through them briefly again. So the first one is just making sure that the proposal wouldn't benefit from Additional studies, as mentioned, the applicant did prepare a traffic analysis hypothetical, as there is no set use proposed, but one that can guide and give a sense of what the traffic impact would be based on the proposed zoning. Staff doesn't believe that any additional plans beyond what has been prepared are necessary at this time. Importantly, any rezoning that occurs can come with conditions, and that could be recommended by the commission, and city council can impose those conditions on any rezoning. The ultimate goal is really to make sure that the zone map amendment is consistent with community needs, public health, safety, general welfare, that is the term that is used in the comprehensive plan. And then finally, the future land use map and the other goals and policies of the comprehensive plan, which the next standard of approval really gets to in detail. So importantly, the future land use map, which has been referred to, is what the zone request is aiming for. So this is a designation of mixed use. You can see the purple here on this map is all mixed use. And to the north is commercial, to the south is residential, and so it kind of serves as that buffer zone. The zone map amendment request, if it were to be granted, it would cause the zoning to be consistent with the future land use map designation as it is today, and then enable the uses that that zone entails. And that zone is a zone in the Hayden City Code, and it has a list of uses that are allowed, and so that's an important clarification just in case there's any doubt about that. It's both a land use designation and a zone. So the goals and policies of the comprehensive plan are crucial, and the third standard of approval actually gets to that. But before we dive into that, I want to give the director a chance to read some of those goals to give the public and the commission a sense of what relevant goals of the comprehensive plan should be considered in making a decision or recommendation.
Okay, so goal number 2 says the comprehensive plan is a living document and serves as a guide for development. Components of the comprehensive plan are updated as necessary to reflect the community's vision. Goal number 3 says to maintain an attractive and balanced mix of land uses, densities, and housing types, ensuring the future character of the community, promote greater choices and opportunities. Goal number 4 says the city of Hayden should encourage the development of land within the corporate limits of Hayden prior to annexation of adjacent areas. Goal number 5 says to preserve, protect, and strengthen the vitality and stability of existing neighborhoods. Goal number 7 says to provide a balance of commercial uses in designated areas throughout the community, centered around established transportation corridors while protecting the character of adjacent land uses. Goal number 8 says to ensure all development can be serviced by existing public facilities or extended to adequately serve the development. Goal number 12 says to establish a balance between jobs and housing to attract new employment and living opportunities. And goal 17 says to promote and encourage the development and rehabilitation of quality housing through a variety of housing options and densities. And then there are others in your appendix.
Thank you, Don.
You're welcome.
And just to clarify, as this standard of approval is being considered, which you'll do during deliberations, just reading this last part here, or I'll read the whole thing. So amendments to the zoning map and zone text shall be in accordance with the future land use map and the goals and policies found in the Hayden Comprehensive Plan. So in effect, each goal and policy in the comprehensive plan is built into the standard of approval. And I think that's important to note, just to clarify deliberations and as the public provides their testimony. So finally, it's important that the zone map amendment be consistent with, according to the code here, the zone district's purpose and intent. Now, because the zone map amendment requests a change from, in this case, commercial to mixed use, it's important to establish what those zones allow for and what the basis of those zones is. So commercial, really, as already discussed by the applicant, it's kind of self-explanatory. Commercial uses, retail, that sort of thing. But mixed use allows for residential and a combination of commercial and residential, or one or the other. So that's an important kind of flexibility that mixed use zone allows that is not allowed by the commercial zone. That's really the main distinction. And then the code sets forth setbacks, density, all of the details and design standards in the mixed use zone. So this is the current zoning map. It's currently zoned commercial. As already discussed by the applicant, the properties to the west, the north, are developed with commercial uses. Properties to the south are residential. So that will necessitate landscaping buffers, that sort of thing. Regardless of whether this is approved, if it was developed as commercial, it would necessitate those buffers to make sure that those uses are just separated from that residential to the south. Infrastructure along with the landscaping would be a crucial aspect of any future development. Again, independent of whether the zone map amendment is approved, but it is an important aspect. So dedication of right-of-way and easements are going to be necessary. And as already discussed, the intersection of Hayden Avenue and Ramsey Road is currently in design development. So what ultimately occurs there will need to be taken into account by the applicant and their site plan at time of future development to ensure that traffic is managed and any impact of vehicles on the site can safely be accommodated by the road system. So we did notice 20 agencies and received 6 responses on the zone map amendment request. There were no objections or concerns expressed, although some agencies did provide general standards that should be taken into account. Among those, the Coeur d'Alene Airport mentioned that a navigation easement would be requested. That's a very standard thing that is requested in development in the city. DEQ noted that they did not review the proposal in detail, but they did provide a long list of general standards that should be applied, and that will become more relevant again when a site plan is submitted. And finally, the fire district specified future development standards that would be relevant again at the time of future development. We also noticed the public to allow for written comments to be submitted in addition to the public testimony that you'll likely hear tonight, and we received 4 comments in opposition. Concerns generally related to the growth in the area as a whole, the density concerns that have been common to many zone map amendment requests, but importantly, those comments are contained in the memo that you were provided with, and I encourage you, if you haven't already, to read all of them and take those and the testimony you'll hear tonight into account when making your recommendation. This is just another aerial image of the neighborhood, just to kind of, again, see that mix of uses. You can see Hayden Avenue is largely a commercial corridor, as already covered by the applicant. They provided some helpful images from street level of adjacent and nearby uses. And then that residential to the south that's already built out on Marigold. So these are the standards of approval that we've gone through. I'll have this up while you're deliberating, but you're free to approve this, recommend approval, approve with conditions that you can discuss if you feel that's appropriate, or recommend denial to the council. And I stand for any questions that you have at this time.
Any questions for Zach?
Thank you, Zach.
Zach, you've done wonderful tonight.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So now we're going to go to the public hearing. And, well, we're already in the public hearing, but anyone who wants to offer written oral comments must complete the form located in the back of the room. Form must have name, address, date, whether you are testifying in support of, uncommitted, or opposed to the application. We'll ask for testimony of those supporting, then uncommitted, and then those opposed to the application. Anyone who wants to testify must do so at the podium, so remarks can be picked up on the recorder. Questions and comments will be directed to the commission, not the applicant, and the applicant will have the opportunity to answer questions and offer rebuttal after all public testimony is completed. Additionally, if the commissioners are curious, I have a table of allowed uses if you want to contrast the difference between commercial and mixed use, and if not, I'll just leave it right here. All right, so we have Sandy White, who is registering that she is against the proposal, who does not wish to comment. And we have Teresa, is it Roth?
Yes.
Roth, who wishes to speak and is against the proposal.
I've spoken before to the.
Teresa, could I ask you to start
yes.
with name and
Oh, my name
address?
is Teresa Roth, and I am 2011 West James Crow.
Thank you.
I've spoken before at the, city councils, and I have sent letters to the city council on the issue of mixed use. I have no particular, I was very interested to hear what you were going to propose to do with this, and it wasn't a very.
Teresa, I apologize. You have
Oh, I'm
comments
sorry.
or to us?
I'm sorry. So I was hoping to hear and be able to respond specifically to what they were doing. It seems that their proposal is still up in the air. What I was gonna suggest is to delay, not deny, not accept, but to delay this until after the election. There's been a lot of opposition, not necessarily to any particular proposal, but to the entire a new zone map proposal. It facilitates enormous increases in density in the city that the infrastructure is not there to handle. It really needs a second look. My particular concern is in something that the comprehensive plan and the zone map don't address at all, but is absolutely essential and is my primary criticism of mixed use, which is the neighborhoods where mixed use have been on large scale, as they are planned for Hayden, has dramatically changed the character of the entire community, from owner-occupied, both residential owner-occupied to corporate rentals for apartments, and also just as devastating in business districts. You've gone from owner-operators, and I have seen this in places where mixed use has come, and you go, over time, over years, you transfer huge amounts of property from owner-operated businesses to corporate real estate rentals. And this is the type of transformation that we do not want in Hayden. There's been a big movement opposing it, and we have an election coming up, and the big issue has always been mixed use. So what I'm asking is not to deny and not to accept. I'm asking you to table this mixed use proposal, and I would hope that in a future comprehensive plan, the issue of a preference for owner-occupied dwellings versus corporate rentals would be specifically addressed. It's a critical issue. It is not addressed in the current plan, and it will destroy communities. The community that I am familiar with that has had mixed use zoning for 20 years has gone from 75 to 80% owner-occupied dwellings in both business and residential to 45%. It's a disaster. So we need to do something in Hayden to put the brakes on corporate rentals, and so the development is fine, even development of higher density apartments or higher density residences is fine, but the wholesale turning over giant swaths of Hayden to corporate rentals is not acceptable. So I'm asking for a delay, not a denial or acceptance, that's all.
Teresa, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Something that wasn't clear to me, mixed use is actually a brand new thing here in Hayden. So when you're quoting the turnover you've seen, is that in another town or what?
Absolutely, mixed use was adopted by Hayden. It is not a new zoning. It's been a favorite zoning of corporate apartments, especially those who are using government subsidies for affordable housing.
Sure.
And this has gone on in many communities in the West, and it is trying to come to Hayden, and it's got to be stopped.
And Donna, just to be clear, mixed use is new this year, right?
The mixed use zone to allow multifamily and commercial, both uses at the same time, was adopted in the April code. It's important to note that under the old commercial zone designation, multifamily was allowed in commercial by
Right.
conditional use permit, but
Right.
is no longer allowed under the current code in the
Right.
commercial zone.
Yep, I just wanted to clarify that mixed use is new, because I thought my brain
April.
thought so, thank you.
It has been used widely in other towns,
But what
and it
about
has
the
had a very
preference?
devastating effect on them.
I appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions for Teresa?
So, conditional use permit.
Thank you.
Okay, no questions? Okay.
Okay, do we have anybody online who wishes to speak? Okay. All right, applicant, I believe you are up for rebuttal if you so desire.
Okay. Thank you. I guess we don't have a lot to say for rebuttal.
Oh, real quick.
Yes.
You can address things that were brought up, no new information, please. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't do something wrong.
Otherwise, we go around and round and around.
Yeah, so I just think, the mixed use has been a big topic, right? And I believe council spent a lot of time and staff reviewing that recently and even lowering the density of it and whatnot. And so just wanted to point that out. I think that's about it, actually.
Okay, thank you, Eric. All right, so I'm gonna close the hearing now for public comment. At this point, there will be no more comments or questions allowed from the audience. Commissioners, do we wish to proceed with deliberations? Brandon, we good? All right, please start, Ben.
Where's the zone, so, now it's the zone map, I guess standards of approval, I was wanting to look at the existing land use map.
I got it right here.
Oh, thank you.
And I could pull up what you need me to.
We're good, we're good.
It's commercial right now,
Okay, right, I was just trying to.
and that whole area is commercial, that swath.
Yeah.
Is this table somewhat, or are we?
No, I got what I need here, we're good, I'm sorry, you can go back to the standards. I'm a punt, I wanna hear some other opinions.
Okay.
on this.
All right, Mary, you wanna
I'll
go
go first.
second
Okay,
or first?
so I like the mixed use, because I think that it is important that we offer a variety of housing. I'm much more comfortable with the density that we've reduced it to and the stepping and that kind of stuff, and that applies in there.
Correct, yep, our code has been adopted, it's now 12 units an acre, up to 15 units an acre with
With amenities.
amenities, yep.
Right,
Yep.
okay.
Should they choose to?
Should they, yeah, right,
Should they choose to do multifamily? Just
Right.
because they're going to mixed use doesn't require it.
Yes, I
Okay.
understand that,
It-
but I,
yeah, it allows for the multifamily or commercial outright, and a blend of both. So those three options, commercial, multifamily, or multifamily and commercial
right.
outright.
Right. It's a little bit difficult without any even squishy plans as to what you wanna do with it, what the applicant wants to do with it. But I, in theory, like that mixed use because it allows for so much more. That I think that it's a benefit to the community as a whole. If the applicant chooses to do some mixed, multifamily and mixed with commercial, I think this applicant has, an amazing reputation of quality build. I cannot imagine that they would put that in danger by slapping up garbage.
Okay.
So,
Also, I had to just ask Donna this to confirm, there's a requirement in the location to do, if you do multifamily, commercial has to be included as well, so there's not an option here. I just wanted to.
Because it's within 300 feet of a controlled intersection, based on our design standards.
Okay.
So just so you know.
Well, and I like that because we've talked a lot about, you know, walkability to commercial, making it more of a community. That mix creates more of a community feel when I can walk to my manicurist or I can walk to my coffee shop and that kind of stuff.
On that subject, is there a certain percentage that has to be allocated to,
Based on the design standards that were approved, yes.
and that is, sorry.
She doesn't
Okay.
feel good, we're
All
testing
right.
her brain.
Stay back in 2 weeks.
But there are, yeah,
Okay.
there's a requirement for that, so it's
There
not
will be some commercial if they
based on
choose
its
to
location.
put multifamily in
Ben, are
it.
you ready to swing?
Yeah, the location
Or
on
do you want to go
Hayden.
Brandon first?
I want Brandon to talk.
Go for it, Brendan.
It's gonna be short. I look at this property as an ideal property for what it is that we're pushing for.
I do too.
I agree.
Opposed?
I propose that we move to approve PZE 21-0213.
Okay. Anything to add?
No.
I
All right.
second.
Well, before
Well,
we do
let's
that.
finish the.
Yeah, before we do that, so my two thoughts are, the difference between commercial and mixed use, according to our uses table, are honestly very minimal. There are some more industrial oriented things that we'll be taking out. So for example, solid fuels, et cetera, things that might cause harm to the residents, would be taken away with the removal of commercial. And then basically the difference in addition is just that we can have housing in there. And so, I think it's a good fit, I think the standards of approval are met, and with that, if anybody wants to make a motion, feel free.
I make a motion to approve or recommend approval
Super.
to the city council for PZE 21-0213.
Okay, we have a proposal, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second, would you take roll please?
Hold on 1 second, let me catch it up. Commissioner Bunis,
Yes.
Commissioner, Vice Chair Davis.
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Prickett.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to reports. Anything to report, Don?
I think that the next meeting is a call-in meeting. Right? I think the next meeting is a call-in meeting, or can be a call-in meeting. You'll have the 2 written recommendations from tonight's meeting.
What's the date on that?
The 15th of November.
15th, thank you.
Yeah. And then I'd like to introduce Sabrina. She's our new assistant planner.
Hi, Sabrina. Hello.
And there'll be some training trade-off between Sean, who has graciously been filling in as clerk, because she knows board book inside out backwards, which is way better than the rest of us. And then she'll be training Sabrina, so she'll be taking over. I think we're squeaking really bad.
You do
Yeah,
have some
we're getting
feedback
feedback.
after the
Okay.
Anyway, that's the only report I have.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
anything else we need to hit, or do we need to make a motion to adjourn?
I think we're good.
I'll make
We're adjourned.
Okay.